Hi everybody, welcome back to 30 Days Until Done. We're working on our month of going into the interior of ourselves, which is what poetry is, but we're pushing it this month. And we're thinking back on our contemplative life and seeing if we can create poetry out of our contemplative life as well. And sometimes that includes things we've done, sometimes not. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is the East of Eden poem, and that's reference to Steinbeck, but it's also, of course, reference to Cain and Abel. They slew his brother, and he was sent east of. No, wait, that's Adam and Eve. They were kicked out of the garden.
No, Cain had to go east of Eden, and he had the mark of the beast on his.
Oh, okay.
The mark on his, not the beast, but the mark.
Yeah, the mark. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So.
And there he mysteriously met his wife.
Yeah, who didn't exist yet, but we're not going to think about that. But the idea of it is that you have gone out of paradise, and that you realize once you're out what you've lost, right? And this is when does this happen to you? Now you're sitting here thinking to yourself, what? That's never happened to me. Yeah, it is. You look back on time, you say, wow, I really had it then. I didn't realize, and that whole internal experience of the realization. Traffic there. The realization of what you had and what you no longer have is the poem today. So what could that be? Well, for example, when I got out of college, you're always looking for that moment of getting out of college is what you're working for this whole time, and then you get it, and that's not great. Those first couple of years out of college aren't great, right? Because you're building a life. It could be exciting in their own way too, and actually looking back on that time, that was a very exciting time in my life, but it didn't feel like it. I'd left the comfort of that place that I'd known so well, and I did well in college. I was good at going to college, right? And then I lost it. This is going to sound funny. When I was young, we moved out of Pittsburgh to Los Angeles, and I was just so disappointed by that. I just loved it. Living in LA, I dreamed of Pittsburgh as a sort of paradise, and I don't think there's anybody in the whole history of the world who's done that besides me. It was a great neighborhood that I lived in when I was young, and I grew to like the new one. But that sort of contemplative looking back, or many of you know how much I move. I move a lot, and it's always for a good reason, because we're just working deals out in our heads, and we always find a better deal wherever we're going. But I like those places I lived. I didn't leave them because I disliked them. I had to move out of Lake Arrowhead. That was paradise. That was wonderful. But finally the commute got me. I couldn't deal with it. But living in that wonderful paradise of Lake Arrowhead with a stream running by my house was just absolutely phenomenal. When I moved out of it, moved into a crappy part of Walnut, which I grew to love too. Anyway. This is the idea of this poem. What was that place that you missed, and what happened when you realized that you were missing it? Okay, so my wife and I spent our first 4 or 5 months dating, living in London, like with very little responsibility. Thanks, Mom and Dad. That was wonderful. Coming back to the States. As soon as I got back to the States, I lost my hearing again. I was like, oh, this is awful, right? And I'm thinking back at how wonderful London had been. So when you're done with that, post down below, and I'll see you tomorrow in 30 Days Until Done.